Aloha, everyone. We're in the middle of August. No, we're not. We're in the first week of August. I'm at the field facilitator training, module 3. So we're right in the middle of it, a 5-module, 1-year training. And yeah, I just wanted to share that today. there were some resonant voices and opinions being shared. And before I share any more, just to say that my intention is not to necessarily rupture or defame or anything like that. The organization that is behind this training, but just that there were just some voices. I'm just sharing. I'm honestly just sharing as a personal experience and just wondering, just out loud, and kind of publicly, how I'm not going to reveal who the other two people were, but I will put myself on the line there to say that, yeah, I heard a couple of others speaking about our course and how it is billed as a facilitator training, and how basically just voices and opinions and feelings that don't know if it's really, really giving this experience fully. For example, where there's plenty of opportunities to allow us more into the backstage arena to really, be included and to be allowed in to the meta level of what is going on, what are the decisions behind them, why were these choices made and not those, not to criticize, but just to know, just to learn from our facilitators, whom are so experienced and wise in between their years of facilitation and their caliber of facilitating. And so I couldn't help but join these other participants and saying, just to say, don't get me wrong, everything that we're experiencing and being introduced to, or indeed if it's already something that, I can only speak for myself, right, that I have learned already. I'm already having completed a trauma-informed bodywork training already, which includes psychology and somatic, psychology. So I appreciate and agree that it is important to make sure that the trauma-informed piece is included. And I had just figured that, I suppose it's just, qualifications can overlap and it's fine. I think in the years that the Wheel of Consent had made its debut on the whole scene of touch therapies, therapists, that, I must have done Wheel of Consent and the 3-minute game so many times at the hands of so many different facilitators. So like that now, the trauma-informed piece, the last few years just kind of going over and over in different forms. So, we were offered an official qualification from this organization, from the field and culture of care, which one of the tutors in the field is the company manager, I suppose. And it's great. And offering us an officially recognized trauma-informed qualification is great. So when these two were speaking today, I joined them because I felt like, I love everything that we're being introduced to. It's all important. But in terms of being a facilitator of groups, a trauma-informed facilitator of groups, retreats, workshops, and getting into the meta of group dynamics, relational dynamics, and it's all relevant. The co-regulation of which we have been training intensively, both in person and in between. But that's simply it. Just a question of we did a little bit of it. I felt, or we felt as well, that, okay, now today we're getting into the nuts and bolts of co-creating with other facilitators. And also, choosing if you feel like you were called to be in a lead facilitator role, in a co-facilitation role, in an assistant role, in an emotional support role, in a therapist role or / practitioner role, and or a production role. So the invitation was to feel into which would you grow the most in, not where is your comfort zone or, where you're necessarily an expert, but it had to have the balance of, that you can do it. So you have the necessary training. It's not just that, you read a couple of books and you feel like that really resonates with me and this is my life calling and this is my soul, but you have some, nuts and bolts training so that you have the qualification. And for me, that translates to resources, because I know in the early years of being out there as a Tantra practitioner, Tantra body worker, Tantra masseuse, other individuals were coming up to me and asking me about it, and then thinking out loud and kind of, what's the right word? They were sort of thinking out loud and saying that they might go into the same line of work. And, I was really touched that they were just, I don't know whether they were aware of it, just sharing with me out loud there and just talking about what they would wear or not wear and how they would approach it. And I just thought, this is like kindergarten training. It's like kindergarten teaching. I'm qualified in childcare. And although love of children is a big part of it, it's not the only part. There's a lot behind training and qualifications. For me, being in the business of childcare meant I needed to really get anchored in relational dynamics and family dynamics. What goes on between parents, attached or non-attached. Whether they were separated parents or living in the same home, or one was away at work for long periods of time or short periods of time. All of this, extended family, siblings from different marriages, so like that. With the bodywork side of things, especially we're talking, conscious sexuality, sex positive, basically lifestyle. If you're not just putting on one hat and that's only for 1 hour a day when I give a massage, then it's a lifestyle, And when you have training and a qualification, it means that you've gone through, you've gone through a season. Hopefully it's at least 1 year. You've gone through a full season, the round of the year, so that your body has been in its extrovert phase, if that's in the summer, it's in the summer, and spring, and then you a bit more closed, and maybe when you don't feel so social in the winter and the autumn. And you've gone through the round and you've been training with your colleagues and your would-be colleagues. So you really have a good, balanced kind of overview of what it's like to offer this service to, your clientele, your customers, others that are looking for this kind of service. And I always look at I was once, and I still am, open and always open and I don't know if I would say looking out for, but let's just say my ear will always prick up when it comes to conscious sexuality, healing, modalities. And I suppose the more you do it, the more you can nearly hear the sound of something and already get a read on the frequency of who's offering this and where they're coming from, what is their intention, where are they going, what's their trajectory. And of course, I'm also a mature person, a parent of, adult children. So I have that life experience behind how I judge and how I receive new information. So with all that, just coming back into the field and the facilitation training, I did voice that I think the way I have received the training up to now has always been like kind of trust. And I realized that there's a certain amount of projection there of all of my trainers or my teachers, my mentors. I guess I project a sort of, you know what you're doing, and I trust you because you've brought us this far and you've come this far. Okay, it's only the second year that this training is in existence, but yeah, so a couple of times I have felt like, well, it is billed as a facilitator training, and So yeah, just I suppose there are other experiences that are more nuts and bolts, and maybe there's a different bar for joining the cohort, and maybe you have to produce your certificate of qualification of having done something trauma informed, qualifying you, or body work, or whatever the modality is, psychology, whatever it is. So it was great to have the dialogue between myself and my course mates. One of the assistants somehow stumbled into the conversation, and she said she would bring it to the course tutors, the main guys. And for me, I realized I suppose it's one person in particular who is it's her baby, this course, and that our other tutors, I could be dead wrong now, but from what it looks like is that, our trauma informed qualification is coming from a tutor within the course. She wasn't there last year, but so I see her as she's like a freelancer. She was hired to be this part of the teaching team, the core faculty of the field. And it's really the one whose vision launched and birthed the field facilitator training. And I thought okay, that's good to know exactly, who I would love to have a chat with, because by all accounts, I didn't know them before I joined the field. And any interaction I've had so far has been, it's been positive, we're not like best friends or anything, but there is a healthy respect and warmth there. So I feel like on the one hand, I would love to just go up and say what I would love, and what I feel like maybe I need to feel the field more is to, I have the confidence, but in a way it's kind of like a blind confidence. So I don't know what that counts for. You know what I mean? Is to feel more of this kind of nuts and bolts of like, okay, you came here to be a facilitator, right? This is what it means. And, so getting us physically in harness and, getting ready to go. And we are practicing with each other. We are dividing the field up this year into smaller groups, and we are practicing facilitating the groups. So we're doing all that. I guess the other two that I stumbled into their conversation, they are currently facilitating groups of, I'd say, 50 and more, and some in the corporate world and some not, more maybe in a festival or an ongoing well-being business. So I'm a lot more sporadic than that, and I'm not regularly, consistently right now currently facilitating groups of 50 or more. So just listening to them, it just felt like, yeah, I also have this like desire to just, get into it more and quickly. But I love the way that they're, introducing all the things they are. I suppose at the end of the day, if it was a 2-year course, just saying, then I wouldn't be as sort of like, not impatient. I don't think I'm an impatient type, but, a little bit like, yeah, when are we gonna get given more? When are we going to get the chance to grow more into this role of being facilitator? We're not going to have 2024 forever. And I know that there's a new cohort of the field based in the States and perhaps based in the next European center, which I believe is going to be New Eden. So, yeah, we're going to be ending after this is finished this month. Then we'll have 2 more modules and that'll be it. So that's my little reflection today, a little bit not as positive and lovey-dovey as, but more just opening it up. And I think on the wider range of sharing, I thought, yeah, maybe I'll share this because, yeah, have you ever signed up for something and it was billed as this such and such experience, whatever it was, creativity builder or break your writer's block, and it was a longer form container, like it was, half a year or a 9-month course or a 2-year course, indeed. And you felt like where I'm at, I'm like now I'm at the halfway mark. You felt like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable really saying to friends and others who are curious about the course that I'm doing that, yeah, it's just what it says. It's delivering exactly what it says. I feel uncomfortable to say like, well, it's not exactly, I don't know, delivering it the way I would have imagined, but I also, have had faith and trust that there's a rhyme to the reason, or the reason to the rhyme, a method to the madness. It's not that it's been mad, it's been great, In a way, I feel like I'm imagining, I've always imagined this since Module 1, when Module 1 was the way it was, and kept me interested when they said all the other modules are going to be totally unlike this Module 1. So from what I experienced with Module 1, I thought we're just reviewing trauma-informed practices and exercises, which I've done in my other course. And it felt like I was attracted to this course because of the fact that it was built as a facilitation course, high caliber trauma-informed facilitators. So, but the promise of like all the other modules can be totally different, I had faith in that. And yeah, so that was my wondering, like, did you ever feel like, I'm not sure if I can swear that I feel now still 100% trust that, I know we can never 100% be guaranteed that what I had hoped for when I sign up for an experience, a course or a festival or a retreat or a workshop is going to be what I get, right? But this one seems a little different. It just seems like a few of us have kind of expressed that, yeah, I'm not sure, like, how it's going to pan out. See, our last module, like I said, there's 2 more modules after this week is finished. The last one is given over to an event that we are going to co-create together. So to me and to the others had expressed it like, are we putting energy into co-creating an event, a festival together or a retreat week together, where otherwise we'd be using that time to continue to literally train as trauma-informed facilitators. And that was a good point, I thought. So I couldn't help but agree, like, yeah, it's true. I when they invited us to step forward, some of us step forward as, I see myself, where do you see yourself that you could grow, that would be healthy and good for you to grow into that edge? Some of us put ourselves forward as lead facilitators. Some of us already lead groups and felt like, no, I can do that. That's my easy comfort zone. I would like to try being a co-facilitator because I want to collaborate more with people. Some of us wanted to be more in an assistant role. Some of us wanted to work more as a one-to-one basis as a practitioner or a therapist. And some of us were more drawn to behind the scenes as the production team. So, I just thought it's interesting because we all were interested to be a facilitator. I appreciate that doesn't necessarily mean as a lead facilitator, but from what was shared from the 40 plus participants on day 1, I got the impression that most people were interested and inspired by the idea that this year together could equip us to go forth into the world, empowered and inspired to be lead facilitators. So we'll see. Okay, sorry to leave you on an old cliffhanger, but we'll see what the rest of the year comes up with, how the field continues. I don't want to say how they deliver or how they measure up, but yeah, I suppose in this 3D world we do sometimes think along those lines. So with all my love, because I do feel so much love and appreciation for all the work and organization, and yeah, I am trusting in this dream that, the visionary behind it, Rachel Rickards, that that she has. She's an incredible woman. I'm never going to take that away from her. And I'm just curious, like, where are we going with this field cohort? Year 2. Yeah, and I really pray and hope that I haven't hurt or damaged anybody by my own personal musings, my own personal reflections, and yeah, probably my own personal insecurities and wonderings, insecurities, uncertainties. Yeah, gonna leave it at that and wish you very well. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday today. I think it's new moon, so that means it's a great time to put down some new wishes for the new portal that this time of the month is going to bring. So maybe more wishes into a more transparent, easily discernible connection between facilitation training and actual physical facilitation, if that makes sense. Okay, all my love to you.